Hi everyone. I thought I'd just do a video um, just to say that time's pretty naff at the moment, isn't it? And people are panicking and worrying and yeah, about work and everything. It's impacted everybody in some way or other, but obviously safety measures are in place to protect people. Um, but it's not going to make it easy for a lot of people. I'm aware of the anxiety surrounding what's happening and having to socially isolate. And for people that have to go into self isolation at home, that's not a good thing for everybody. For some, it's just like, yes, I got a couple of weeks off work, but for others, things may not be great at home. So being stuck in that situation where you haven't got the support network around you that you did have before can be quite difficult. So obviously we need to be concerned about those that live on their own, um, those that are living, and it's horrible to say, domestic abuse, those in a violent relationship, where there's children and the children are just, they see school or whatever as an escape, which currently is good because they're still going to school, but if they're not because the family's been affected by it in some way, then that can be quite difficult for a lot of people. Being off work, again, can be difficult, especially if you're self-employed. I've been directly impacted by that because the next 2 months of business, the clients have cancelled, and rightly so. But if I wasn't financially sound, then it would be a struggle. And I know not everybody's in the same boat as me. There are people that don't have food at home at the moment. And then if they go into isolation, how are they going to cope? If they're not working, how are they going to get food? Food banks are struggling, etc. So I think we need to try and help each other if we can, and use this time wisely. I've got 2 months off now, so effectively from going out and working. But I could sit here negatively and think, and just let it get me down, or I can look at it and think, right, okay, let's use this time to regroup. Let's use this time to analyze where you are in life and, is there any changes? We can't control what's happening around us. It's out of our control. What we can control is how that makes us feel. And I'm going to refuse to let it out. And it's easier said than done, especially if you've got stuff going on. Life isn't rosy in our neck of the woods either. But, we've got to look at, right, how do we make this situation the best it can be? And for me, I'm going to take stock of things. I've had a really, really crap 8 years, to be fair, and there have been some really good bits. But I don't feel some of the time my life's been my own, and I've become saturated with quite a lot of things. So, and I've let it get me down. So I think now's the time to reanalyze where I want my life to go. I've come through the worst of the recovery process. I've had a great time. The Invictus Games was phenomenal. I've had some fabulous opportunities and things. So it's not all been naff, but since having to be medically discharged from the RAF with PTSD, it's been a hard slog. And I think I'm going to now use this 2 months to look at, do you know what, let's get some toxicity out of what's still keeping me down. And one of the things I've done is I've come off Facebook again. I went back on it to sell some stuff from where I was anyway, but I've come off Facebook, I've come off Instagram, I've come off LinkedIn. I'm going to stay on Twitter because I think some social activity is really good. And do you know what? I'm going to actually speak to people. I'm going to have a phone call with people or a video chat with people. And we would never have done that so much. You just rely on, text messages or WhatsApp, not WhatsApp messages, but, messages via Facebook or Instagram, whatever. And I think use this time to reconnect with each other. And for me, and for a lot of you out there, reconnect with yourself. And just because you're in sort of isolation doesn't mean you can't get outside, you can't go for a walk, as long as you stay 2 meters or more away from anybody. My sister and I have just started running again, and I'm trying to keep fit still because I want to row the Atlantic at the end of the year. But I'm just going to relook at everything, and also, do you know what? Take the time, find a hobby, find something nice to do, or look at what are the things you wish you could do if you had the time to do it. And yes, you can't go into various places anymore, but is there something you wanted to try? Online stuff is really good as well. There's so much online. You could do an online course in like 2 months or something. So, take stock of that. I'm going to finish my study, and I'm going to finish my book hopefully. So that's what the 2 months are going to be for me, and reevaluating where I am in life. Think of the positives. Get out, get a bit of fresh air. Don't be stuck in the house feeling really anxious. Online shopping, do that instead of going to the supermarkets. There's been restrictions on stuff now, so the shelves aren't going to be empty, but do it online if you need to, because Morrison's especially, they're putting extra drivers on, etc. So, but if you know somebody around about you who's really struggling, is on their own and can't get out, people that are vulnerable, on this vulnerable list, which is fair, but to be fair, everybody's at risk, because even if you're a carrier, in our house at the moment, we've got to be really careful because our niece is undergoing chemotherapy and she stays here, so we've got to be wary of that. So we've got to play it safe, but let's have a bit of common sense about it. Get out, get some fresh air. Don't wallow, because that's the worst thing you can do. Reach out to somebody. I'm always on Twitter. I'm on WhatsApp and stuff, but I'm not giving my number out to everybody. But those that have got my number and you know who you want some contact, then just message me. Reach out to somebody. Don't be alone. If you know somebody's alone, go and help them out. Ask them if they want you to do a bit of shopping for them, etc. Let's reconnect with each other, and let's reconnect with the world again in a way that has been lost through social media and that sort of stuff. Let's turn this, what's possibly a negative, but for the majority of us, it won't affect us, and if it does, it's only a mild thing. So let's look at the positives of the time we have. How can I best take that time now instead of wallowing? What is there something that I wanted to do that I've not been able to do because I haven't had the time to do? That drawing or that painting you wanted to do, that crochet that you wanted to finish, that cross stitch you wanted to finish, go and do something, do a bit of DIY, finish those jobs around the house that need doing. It's an ideal time to go out in the garden now. So really, we've got no excuse because travelling is restricted. Let's use this time. Let's look at the positive, and I know that's difficult for some people and it's not easy to say, but reach out if you are really struggling. There's more guidelines coming out daily on where there's support, so just look at them. And if you're stuck, just reach out. Okay, reevaluation time for me, and take care out there. All the best.